The last of the fruit of the Spirit that is mentioned by Paul in Galatians 5 verses 22 and 23 is that of self-control. And if we look at a very basic definition of this term, it literally means being in control of oneself. And it seems like a simple concept to be in control of one's thoughts and words and actions, but it's actually one of the hardest things for us as humans to do. Everything that we do in our lives requires self-control to one degree or another. There are 18 verses in the Bible that mention self-control, and all but one of these verses are found in the New Testament. And the majority of these verses deal with having self-control in regard to sexual immorality. And this is a very difficult area for all people to exercise self-control. And this is especially true in today's society where we are constantly bombarded with images and speech and music that promote all varieties of sexual immorality. We find self-control mentioned 4 times in Titus chapter 2. In this chapter, Paul is giving instructions to groups of people on what characteristics that they should have and how to teach sound doctrine. He addresses older and younger men and older and younger women, and also bondservants or slaves. He issues a special charge to older women to instruct the younger women to be self-controlled and pure, loving their husbands and their children. And Paul gives these instructions on how to act so that no one may find cause to doubt these people. Now, these were people that we must remember that were to be teaching the Word of God. And Paul did not want there to be any fault in their character whatsoever that people could use to discredit the things that they were saying. And all of these traits and behaviors are what we as Christians should have. And by having these traits and demonstrating these behaviors in Titus chapter 2, those who know us should never doubt that we are children of God. In 1 Timothy chapter 3 and Titus chapter 1, self-controlled is listed among the qualifications of those who are overseers of the church. In 1 Timothy 2 and verse 9, women are instructed to dress with self-control and to exercise modesty. We see that apparel can certainly become a stumbling block to others. Women should be adorned with what professes godliness. In 1 Corinthians 7, self-control is mentioned in the marriage relationship. Paul instructs married couples to engage in intimacy and not deprive one another so that Satan cannot tempt them due to lack of self-control. And we see this too often in today's society. Spouses drift apart physically and emotionally, and they seek comfort from another. That is a lack of self-control. And having self-control over one's own desires is very difficult. If we lack self-control, we become selfish. We're seeking to satisfy our desires no matter the outcome. But to avoid sexual immorality, Paul instructs those who cannot exercise self-control to marry, so they do not burn with passion, 1 Corinthians 7 and verse 9. Now there are many other areas in our lives where we must exercise self-control. We must do so with our temper, and this is very difficult for many people. And when we let others affect the way that we respond to certain actions, we lose our self-control. We often say things in the heat of the moment that cannot be taken back. But we must learn to control our emotions, to control ourselves. Solomon said in Proverbs 25 and verse 28, "A man without self-control is like a city broken into and left without walls." When we lack self-control, we leave ourselves open to Satan's influences. We will do or say anything to get that instant satisfaction that we're seeking. And it could be something as small as saying yes to sin. Or it could be even the sin of sexual immorality in whatever form is attractive to us. Friends, when we are unable to control ourselves, we lose our defense against Satan's temptations, and self-control is a gift from God. 2 Timothy 1 and verse 7 It says, "For God gave us a spirit not of fear, but of power and love and self-control." Yes, friends, God gave us free will, but He also gave us the ability to exercise self-control with that free will. Friends, we thank you for joining us for our program today, and may God bless you with a wonderful day.